Good afternoon to our dear viewers and the community of Community Show. This show is convened by Center for Constitutional Governance and Civic Space TV. In this show, we talk about matters that impact the communities where we live in Uganda. And today, we are talking about road accidents. And particularly, we want to address the issue of Boda Bodas in Uganda. Boda Bodas are motorcycles in Uganda, commercial motorcycles or passenger motorcycles in Uganda. Statistics from Uganda Police shows that about 4,159, or even more anyway, people died from road accidents in Uganda in 2021. Road accidents are very common in Uganda, and nearly half of those that died from road accidents were from Boda Boda fatalities. Each day, it's estimated that 10 people die from from accidents, and half of those are caused due to Boda Bodas. Half of those people who die in a way or another on Boda Bodas or using Boda Bodas. All the fatality has been caused by, in a way, Boda Boda involved. So to discuss this further, I'm joined by people who are in this traffic industry and an activist who seeks to change the road usage in Uganda. I'll ask our dear panelists to introduce themselves. I'll begin with you, Joseph. Good luck. And then we shall proceed.
A very good afternoon. And when you said I'll start with you, Joseph, and good luck, I thought you were wishing me good luck for a moment. My name is Joseph Beyanga, as you said, and nowadays I like to be more identified as Joe Walker. Yeah, you'd say I spent most of my time in broadcasting in the media. Now I join road safety as an advocate for road safety. I mean, each one of us, every day you wake up and you start a journey, which one of us wishes to arrive at their destination safely, except a few characters who are suicidal, and others may be suicidal when they actually don't know it. But each one of us really deserves to start their journey and reach their destination safely. So that's what keeps me moving. I would like each one of us to reach where we are going safely and stop senseless death, if you ask me, because if each one of us was sensible in the way we use the roads, many of us would really go where we are going and would live to see another day. And I think that would do for the introduction.
Over to you, Mr. Musinguzi.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Goodluck. Good afternoon, our viewers. I'm also a journalist who has followed this, and of recent, I have liked what the Uganda police is doing, sharing videos on accidents. And I remember one time seeing one of them and screaming. I thought I would stop a sooner truck from hitting someone. Then that's when I realized it's a video, but it's a dangerous thing. Every other day, for some reasons, even if you have a car, you might find yourself using a Boda Boda, maybe to catch up on something that has come in or an emergency. But I can tell you, one of the things I came up across with the Boda Boda is when I found my child sleeping on a Boda Boda. I was in Kabale town, so on a junction going to Katuna Road. I was somewhere doing my own things. I see my daughter sleeping in the back of the guy. I got a Boda Boda crossly came without panicking him. I I almost cried. That was one of the last days. I wouldn't wish to see young children on a Boda Bodas and unaccompanied. And as a parent, as we go in this discussion, these accidents, as Joe Walker has said, these are senseless. This we shouldn't be seeing in our country. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. Musinguzi. I want to ask to diagnose this issue. And from Joe's perspective, what is the situation like for road usage in Uganda? What is the situation like? Please paint for us a picture of road usage generally in Uganda. For maybe our audience that is out of the country, and the others.
Thank you very much. One, road usage is, I can say it's an economic activity, because if you wake up and you are told we have over 500,000 Boda Bodas in this country, I look at it as an economic activity. I look at it as something that empowers families. These men and women put food on their tables. However, my concern as on the roads is that recently when KCCA, the report we are hearing, when they registered over 40,000 Boda Bodas who came or close to that or more, only 157 Boda Bodas had driving permits or riding permits. Now that means that we are essentially having every other person you see on the road is not supposed to be on the road. I was talking to a Boda Boda yesterday in Rwanda district, currently, actually now I'm in Kanungu. I asked someone a question. He said, why does the police run after us? So I said, do you have a permit? He said, am I supposed to be having a permit? So I said, you know what? The rules say you can't ride on the roads. I don't know for the bicycles whether we should also have a permit, but I said every other time you get on the road, there are rules on that road. So for me, the description is that we have people who are using the roads in Uganda, but then they are the same people who don't want to even have the basic minimum documents that allow them. So you'll find somebody without a driving permit gets into a car, decides to go on the road. Let me give you a scenario. There's when USE examinations, the results came out. So this young man gets into the parking lot of the family, picks a car, calls friends to drive somewhere around Matuga to go and pick results. Along the way, they start taking a selfie. The next thing we heard was that these young souls perished in this accident. So if you are a tourist, if you are a government person, if you are a parent, you are on this road, you are going to work, you don't know who. And for me, I can tell you, whenever I visit a city like Kampala, when I'm walking on foot, I want to go near to the buildings. I can't afford being near the road because what people are doing essentially is just crazy. But to describe this is that to say most of the people who are on these roads are not supposed to be. They don't know if all of us were stopped and asked to tell about 20 or 30 signs what they mean. I doubt whether most of our people will do. And lastly, on this, whenever we have had accidents, most of the drivers, if they have not had issues, they jump out and run away. And they leave the issue for the owner of the car to deal with the people who have been knocked by somebody who has run away. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Musinguzi. Joe Walker, please paint for us a picture of road usage in Uganda from your perspective.
Well, that's a very tough and wide question, if you ask me. And painting a picture, I would say for starters, roads are is the only way we move. It's really 90 up to 98% of us use roads to move from one point to another, to move goods from one point to another, to even when you want to walk home, you still have to use a road because that's where there's a clear path to where you're going. Even when you're out for exercises, if you're jogging or walking, you need the road. That's where you have a clear. But I'll talk more about the condition of our roads because Goodluck really did a good job of talking about the behavior and the conduct of us, the motorists and the users. If you look at Kampala, just use Kampala as an example, we have the last population gave us a 4.6 million daytime population, and then almost 2 million night population. But look at if you come back and you do the statistics, you find more than 50% of the people who come into the city, they're actually walking. And another percentage is using public transport. So if you have 50% of the people who come into the city are walking, look at the kind of roads we have. Are they designed, are they friendly to all the road users? I would say maybe not. I think we have only one road. Now there are two. Archer Road, which is less than a kilometer from Ginger Road, the police post up connecting into Upper Kororo Road. And then the next road, which has a provision for pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles. And then another road that is like that is the Northern Bypass. Yeah, it has the clear two lanes for the vehicle, and there's a clear marked point for cyclists, and then the one for pedestrians outside, which actually has a rail protecting pedestrians from the vehicles. So what about the other roads? A few roads which have been repaired, not really redesigned, repaired, have a few pedestrian walkways. And those are really very few. And then the rest of the roads, pedestrians, motorists, cyclists, call them Boda Bodas, we are all fighting for the small space that is there because other roads have been eaten away by potholes. So that's the kind of state our roads are in. And the other time when I was walking to Bushenyi, it's only a stretch between Lukaya and Masaka, and just before Masaka, that has pedestrian walkway and a point which is marked for cyclists. The rest of the roads, I don't know. It's really, they are designed for vehicles, and that's where the road exists. So what are we doing in terms of the infrastructure to make it friendly to all the users? The people who work on that, they really need to do something about that, make this infrastructure friendly for the users. Let's not design infrastructure for ourselves. When I say ourselves, I mean the guys who are seated in their offices and they can drive. Either they have a personal car or they are driving an official car. And so let's do an infrastructure that is all embraces everybody and protects every user. That's a quick take.
Yes, and that's interesting. That aspect of that you bring of provision for other road users. Yeah, most roads in Uganda are quite narrow, so it even plays into the attitudes of road users. So people who drive cars on the roads think the road is theirs, like there is no regard for other road users like pedestrians, cyclists. Oftentimes, people don't even slow down when they are in what is called a black spot. Many people, even a busy road, people still don't slow down because there is that attitude that roads are only meant for vehicles, which is honestly not correct. And there is a gap in our planning as a country, where we have not planned for other road users, cyclists, pedestrians, many people, and of course, like both of you have said, there is disregard for road, respecting the road in other users, also in a sense that of not obeying the traffic rules. Goodluck said that many people do not even know signs. Yeah, road signs. But even people who actually know road signs do not respect it. I've had an observation. You reach a zebra crossing and people are still speeding on the zebra crossing. We know that people waiting to cross. Yet ideally, when a motorist approaches a zebra crossing, they are supposed to slow down. Actually, when there are people, stop, and if anyone steps on the zebra crossing as a pedestrian, the motorist is supposed to instantly stop, but people, it's like people have to wait for all cars to get done to cross on a zebra crossing, and even lights for pedestrians. So it's still a big challenge in our planning. It's a big challenge in our attitudes. And when Goodluck brought the example of the young people who died, it was quite a shocking event. These were young people who had gone actually to peak, I think, to check their results, Form 4 results, and they all perished. We still have those sad memories, all the sad video of them. They were celebrating in the car. That's the last memory we have, and that's the last memory our families have. And many people have had one or two people whom they know that have been involved in accidents or have even died, So I want us to go now to the second part of our conversation today. What should be done to end this carnage? What should be done to ensure that there is road safety in this country? I want to begin with you. Goodluck.
Thank you very much. With a heavy heart, I don't know whether the solution will come as fast. But let me first add on what Joka has said. I visited Cairo like 7 to 8 years ago. They had 24 million people living in Cairo. I was staying near River Nile. I could see 8 lanes, one side and the other side. 24 million people. People are able to walk through the town. The vehicles are able to walk through the town. Sometimes maybe we need to get some of our people do benchmarking. Now that aside, in terms of what should be done, the last time I was in Kampala, I was near Internal Affairs.
Sorry to interject. Goodluck. Sorry to interject, but our Ugandan technocrats and officers are some of the most traveled in the world. So it's one thing to know what happens. It's another thing to have the will to implement it. Please proceed.
Yeah, quite very sad that, yes, I've seen even counselors, everyone wants to go and benchmark. What they do when they come back is we don't know. So I was telling the last time I was in Kampala, I was near the Internal Affairs Ministry Junction as you enter the Ginger roundabout. I found a young guy who was arguing. Fellow border borders or cyclists were telling him not to do a U-turn. So he said, what will happen to me? I sort of paused to listen into what they were saying. So the guy is like, hey, me, I cannot die. So I was like, is this guy made out of steel? So I could see a mental issue. I could see this guy full of blood. He's a young guy. He has a new motorcycle. he feels he can do anything in this country. And when they talked about policemen, traffic police officers arresting him, he said, those, okay, literally saying those small policemen, what can they do to me? Those who know the local language know when we say, oh, police, those small police. So now, so you look at this young man who comes from home, maybe he has tried all these other jobs and maybe they have not worked, maybe he has stopped even with school, and maybe the family invests in a motorcycle and gives it to him. Now he comes with literally his youthful energy. He wants to put it on the road. Now, even when the seniors are telling him to calm down, to respect the rules, and he still insists nothing will happen to him. Now, in terms of the solutions, is that because of our unemployment, everyone has taken on, sees the motorcycle. And I can tell you, through even the lockdowns of COVID-19, Boda Boda guys, they were able to make money out of this. So I take it in as a human being, as a Ugandan, that this job is employing our young people. But our young people come with that thing. So I don't know who will remove that energy. If somebody does not respect the policeman, the person does not respect even the elders in the trade, they are telling him, look, young man, please, you are supposed to put on a helmet. But he's saying what will happen to him. Now, that is number one. Then number two is that, as you said, there is a zebra crossing near Bank of Uganda. One day I used it, I literally ran away because whoever was driving, I never had time, but I saw the vehicle coming. It was a Harrier. I literally ran for my life because I looked at the zebra crossing, but I saw the car coming. I took off. Now, if our people who are using the roads, if they don't want to respect the signposts, if they don't want to follow the agreed on speed limits in a city, that is another number two, which it's an issue that also we must look through. Maybe Joe will give us, do we take everyone to Ruzira in prison? What will happen? On top of that, adding on that point, I saw somebody who works in parliament as a technocrat. He said, we are tired of policemen stopping us even when we are not dangerously driving. I just said, I wrote back on Twitter, I said, how come for us when we come to parliament, we have to go through the rigorous checking that is even annoying. But for you, when you're on the road, because you're a VIP, because you work with parliament, you want really the policeman to just wave you off and let you go. So it really comes to us that most of our people, those who own the cars and the Boda Bodas and maybe whatever is on those roads, they have that ego of knowing that it's them. Don't disturb me. Who are you, the policeman? Thirdly, I can say the punishments maybe are not the legal regime needs to be looked into this into. Somebody knocks people, but then they said it's the car that or the motorcycle that was involved in the accident. So for me, until yesterday, I was reading in Kenya, they are interviewing a new IGP, a new Inspector General of Police. So he said, when I'm given this office, the bandits or like the cattle rustlers we have in Uganda, he said, those bandits, if we get one, he's going to go for life imprisonment. And for me, in my heart of hearts, I was like, to the people in Turkana and all these other places who maybe they will get justice. Somebody has been found with a gun, they are terrorizing people. Why should they go back to society? Now, when we go back to the roads in Uganda, I have a feeling everybody knows they will, at worst, they will take the car. They will take the car, it will be parked at the police, I'll buy another car and I'll move on. So, but when the law is tough, maybe people would think twice when they are on these roads and they are doing foolish things. I'm sorry, I never use such a words, but for me, I see sometimes on the road. For now, I can stop here.
Yes.
Good luck. Good luck. You're scared of calling idiots idiots.
Thank you for that contribution. Good luck. Yeah. Yes. I mean, you make really valid points, and there's still a lot we have to do. But I must say the legal regime actually provides for tough penalties, and people who are involved in reckless driving and reckless fraud said actually are supposed to, at some states, can have their permits cancelled. And there are very many offenses in the Traffic and Road Safety Act. I think that's the name. Like, there is almost everything provided for. You would be shocked. But again, going to what you said, that our planners here, honestly, they have traveled, and many of them are technocrats, have actually gone to the best universities in the world. They have lived for years in Europe, in the US, where they have seen good infrastructure, but then they do not replicate it when it comes home. They do not plan better. Is it an issue of political will? Are the politicians not being decisive enough on this issue? Or it's an issue of just as a society, we've failed to have certain values, that we hold on to, such as good road safety usage and following the road rules. It's yeah. Joe, what's your take on what should be done?
I'll start from that point where you just your last statement. One is a general comment. You can't expect us to be angels on the road when we are demons in our other life. We bribe to get jobs. We bribe to get whatever we are looking for. So I really don't think you will expect so much from us. Our values as a society are going down, and does that mean we should give up? No. There's one thing I want to emphasize. One, we need to respect life. For starters, respect yourself, respect your own life. You have your family, you have your loved ones. When you wake up in the morning, you want to go back home alive. They are waiting for you. You promise to bring food. Where's the food you are bringing back to them when they bring you back in a wheelchair, God forbid, or in a casket? Let's have respect for life. If there's respect for life, what Goodluck was talking about respect for road signs. Right now, I walk in Kampala every day. I do up between 10 and 15 kilometers every day. I witnessed literally everything. The worst point to cross a road in Kampala is a zebra crossing. It's the worst. It's like a survival. It's I don't even know how to describe it. Just make sure you don't approach it in your mind knowing you are reaching a zebra crossing. Just approach it like you are crossing the road at any point, and go and make sure you've seen there's no car approaching, and then you go. And then also when you are walking on this and you think it's a one-way road, and or even when you are driving and you think there's no vehicle that is going to come from the opposite side, no, still look left and right, and then before you go. Otherwise, there will be an idiot driving in the wrong side of the road. And this was come in very huge vehicles with a state protection. So be careful. And that takes me to the point of the state. Where is the state in this issue of road safety. For the first time, I was having a conversation and applauding Speaker of Parliament. For the first time, I had a statement on the floor of Parliament about the issue of road safety. It could have been made before and I missed it. Please correct me if I missed it. But for the first time I had it, and when the speaker was calling for strict enforcement. And this one, it did not have to take a minister losing their child for them to think about this. No, think about 14 people dying every day. That's a whole taxi dying, a taxi full of people dying every day. Just pause for a moment and think about that. We are shutting down schools in 2 weeks' time because of Ebola. It's not killing 2 people. And I don't want to compare the two, really. No, Ebola spreads differently, kills differently. Let's not compare two bad things. So let's have a respect for life, and then we make sure it comes across in everything we do. The state that I'm talking about, we need consistent and strict enforcement of the law, not just this lip service. You come, you're hard on border borders. Then after 3 days, then the big politician calls you and he says, no, you are harassing our voters. If John Pharmacy was still in Kampala, I think at times there will be some order. But when she was doing everything she was doing, she got the calls from the big people. You are harassing our voters. We lost votes in Kampala because of you. What was she doing? She was ensuring there's law and order. Then the other thing is we need to just remember, no one is above the law. It's so sad when you see big people, varied members of society, not that some are invariable, but variable, you know what I mean. They are playing a key role in shaping our society, dying in avoidable death on road crash. No. We need everybody. And you, if you are driving on the wrong side or you're being driven on the wrong side of the road, way above the speed limit, hey, it's you who dies. Yeah, the other day, your drivers may go with you, but at the end of the day, it's you, it's your life, and you have only one. So don't just lose it anyhow. And then the other bit is if you look at, I'm still looking for the actual numbers. If you look at the number of vehicles that are moving on the road that we have, and then the people with active or even who have ever acquired driving permits, I don't think our numbers add up. We have a huge number of people on our roads who have been there for years and they've never acquired any driving permits or even gone through formal training. So we have many people using these fast-moving, which can be deadly machines on our roads, but they don't have any competent training. So please, if you're listening to us right now and you've never gone through any formal training to operate that vehicle, hey, think twice. And then the other issue of inspection of vehicles, we have these sino trucks, which have become a menace on our roads. Almost we don't go a week without having those issues, those trucks being involved in an accident or in one way or the other. We were having a chat on Twitter. Somebody said, actually, those machines are in a good condition. They are supposed to be a 40-ton truck, but most of the time, Ugandans, the way we operate them, it's loaded 50-ton upwards. So when it's overloaded, stopping may not come easy. Operating and keeping it in good control is supposed to be, may not be easy, but also others really, they get overloaded and then in a short time they're in a bad mechanical condition, and when it comes to stopping them and controlling them on the road, operating them on the road, becomes a problem. The same applies to the buses. Who is ensuring that the vehicles on our roads are in good condition, and what are they doing? I can go on forever. Please, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, talking about those big vehicles, but also you would ask, what is a sino truck of sand doing passing through a busy street? Yeah. What is a big vehicle doing on a busy street during day? I mean, there should be serious maybe even regulation or serious standards and how can I call it, standard operating procedures or rules of procedure for certain things. I mean, we can decide and say, we can't have, big construction vehicles in the middle of the city during the day. Many times you are on a border. At times I use Boda Bodas many times, and you have you're on a Boda Boda and you are behind a big truck that is pouring sand, as it moves. Whenever it hits a bump or a pothole, sand gets out. This is during day. That blindfolds other road users, but also it's an inconvenience. We operate like a very disorganized society, and it is sad to know. Road usage, but also, it goes back to the planning and also the impunity on the road. Kampala, I think, is the only city in the world where you see a judge of the Court of Appeal, even including the Chief Justice. The other day, the Chief Justice was driving on the wrong side of the road. I was so embarrassed as a lawyer. I felt bad as a lawyer and as a citizen of this good country. Driving on the wrong side. A Speaker of Parliament, Deputy Speaker of Parliament, who would drive on the wrong side. And these are the guys who have lead cars. But in any case, these are people who are supposed to be on time, because we spend a lot of money on them to ensure that everything is okay at their place. They don't cook food. We provide them with cooks, They do not maybe even go to the market. They have less things that would delay them in their homes or things like that. But of course, they're also people. But we spend so much on them for them to disrespect us by using the roads wrongly. It's so sad to see dignitaries using the road wrongly and using the wrong side. And this has also now gone to diplomats. Diplomats have also learned bad road usage behaviors in Uganda. They're also using roads anyhow. You see a diplomat, the country diplomat, who are at the top of society and who are supposed to be good examples, also using the roads wrongly. And this is because politicians are honestly not respecting the roads. And another issue also we have in Uganda is that Uganda has very old cars. This is a country where many cars come and when they're 20 years, and yet there is, I think, even a moratorium or a ban. There's a ban on importation of cars that have either 10 or 15 years. I'm not sure about that, but I could be corrected. But we still have very old vehicles in the city. Pollution, but also they are not user-friendly. They're not in good usage. So they obviously occasion accidents, and a lot of accidents are attributed to malfunction of those vehicles. It also takes me to the third point of maybe it's time to tone down on cars, on the usage of cars in town, in busy places. And Joe, you've provided a very good example in walking. We can't embrace walking, honestly. We can't embrace using bikes as opposed to using cars and also motorcycles that not only pollute, but are also a danger to other road users. So I think we can also adopt some of those clean ways, or more sustainable ways of living and using roads in our cities and in our other areas. I want to come to you, Goodluck, Musinguzi, to give us your final advice, your final say on this issue, and what you would like to see and see change in the road usage of Uganda.
Thank you very much. As you spoke, I was thinking about one thing. I want to be the president of Uganda for 1 week or 1 year. And in that space, so I'll be called President Goodluck Jonathan, I would ask my technocrats like Joe Walker has talked of Archer Road, which connects Ginger Road to Kororo, which has all the aspects of a good road. I'll ask my technocrats in that 1 year that can we do only 1 kilometer of a road that is standard? It has space for ambulances. Those are emergency service cars, and maybe even the troubling politicians and all those ones who want to use. Long time ago, I used to know that once I clear one side, when I'm crossing the road, then I'm safe. But as you clear, another person is coming from the other opposite direction. Now, I would ask my technocrats to have to design 1 kilometer of a standard good road, or 10 kilometers. I will call for emergency services to have a lane. I will introduce a tram or an electric train in Kampala City. Then I will expand other lanes. Then I will make sure I put all what Joe Walker is talking about, the pedestrians and all these things. At least if I will not do much in that 1 year, I will work on that road. Secondly, I will build 1 kilometer of a flyover. Then I'll ask my colleagues who will come after, at least each year, if we were adding a kilometer on a standard road. Now, you can see the many years NRM has spent, maybe we would have 40 kilometers of flyovers, would have these kilometers, that have moved, that are similar to Archer, or if you go downtown there, Chikubo, yes, where the Chikubo is, from Namirembe Road up to near the post office. I think they have also designed something where that place used to be a menace, but at least now you can walk through and you feel you're a human being, and most especially us who come from Kampala. You don't want vehicles are near you, Boda Bodas, even that's when they get chance to pickpocket. So if I was made a president, for me that would be my cry, and I am crying to everyone. And I hope the Minister of Transport, General Katumba, can get a copy of this show. Allen Kajina and all your technocrats, please, if you will not do 100 kilometers of these roads in a better way, let me add on the road mayor. The road mayor of Kampala, I don't know if I will ever know you because you improved Kampala or the politics. Your executive officer, I'm telling them, let them listen to us. Please do for us 1 kilometer of the road in 1 year with all the resources you have. Pocket everything, but just do 1 kilometer so that every year we have a good road designed, just 1 kilometer and a flyover. Then I can already say maybe we shall have a solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck. Over to you, Joe.
Thank you. Good luck, and I wish you good luck in your presidency. One of the things that we're looking at is that we need. Every time I'm on the road, I normally I like walking in the evenings, so it gives me more time to observe and study many things. That's when most of us, we tend to move at the same time. You look at a stretch, I'll give you a stretch on Acacia Road, Acacia Avenue, between the golf course traffic junction and that hospital or Metropole Hotel. There's a hospital, MedPower. You find that whole road congested and full. But when you look inside, the highest number of people in the car is 3. And those number where you find 3, it's a driver, it's an official car, it's a driver, it's an escort, and a big person they are escorting. But most of the vehicles, it's 1, 2 people, 1, 2 people. When that whole stretch, it doesn't take more than 70 cars, which means all of those people can fit in 1 bus. So we need, if we had a functioning public transport system, we will not have madness on our roads. We will not have the madness in the number of vehicles. It will be limited. And when the vehicles are few, then people get to move in a sensible way. The few capitals have been in the Western world, public transport is given priority, and the planning and ensuring that actually it's operating. It's not something that it's run for profit. It's run as a service first. And when we do that, then because we lose the highest number of accidents happen in the great Kampala, the metropolitan Kampala. So it's happening because people are rushing to, everybody wants to go and wants to go. Now, everybody wants to be the best driver. They think they're the best driver. They are cutting in front of each other. It's just madness. And then all these border borders, who, if the public transport is functioning and at 10, I'll get a bus and it will drop me off at 10:15 at this point, then why are you jumping? You plan your day properly. You don't have to jump on the border borders. So a functioning and efficient public transport will sort out a big chunk of the mess on our roads. Two, I really appreciate what the police is doing, but I don't appreciate what they've done over the years. The inconsistency in enforcement of law and order. Come on, crack the whip. And forget this nonsense of so and so has called, and if they've called and then they're standing surety for them, still let the cost of the law take its course. And then when it comes to when the accidents happen and all that, the crashes happen, and somebody you take a statement. Let's see some prosecution. We have the Traffic and Road Safety Act was amended. Ever since it was amended, I've not heard of any single conviction of people who are, and then we see what the police is telling us is reckless driving, careless and reckless driving, and people are dying. That's killing somebody on the road when you are the cause of the accident is equivalent of murder. Let's see some prosecutions. People will wake up. And then to my friends in the media, I thank you for Civic TV for this conversation. But my friends in the media, let's have this conversation about road safety. I've been with you in the media. I see you every day, every other day. You can't go for 2 weeks without one of our colleagues getting involved in a border accident, getting a come on, let's talk about this thing. The more we create awareness about road safety and how important it is. Look, it costs Uganda every year 5% of our GDP goes into road safety. The money we lose when people are sick and they are not working, when they are nursing injuries and they are not working, treating the casualties. If you go to Malago, there's a whole ward that has been dedicated to border injuries and the casualties. It's too costly. We are too poor to afford this recklessness. That's all I can say. Let's be sober.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. We lose so much money to road because of these road accidents and all that. I mean, it's in billions of dollars. I think it's between $1.2 billion and $1.5 billion of our GDP. That's part of our GDP, substantially 5%. Yes, that goes into that we lose due to these accidents. That are caused by poor road usage and name it, all the causes that come with it. And you've brought a very good perspective in terms of public transport. We may not be able to solve this issue until we sort the public transport. As government, it's important to support this. At least let it be the one thing, like Goodluck said. NRM can say this is the one thing we should be remembered for putting in place public transport where people are able to, the roads are good, and also where people are able to access the public transport, maybe a tram, like you said, maybe a bus, and these have to be deliberate. There's no country that develops with being lenient. There's deliberate effort. There is no country that develops without cracking the whip, like Joe said. I mean, there should be steps taken, and we should be strict. We can decide and say, as a country, we want to prioritize public transport. People should be able to access a bus. They should be able to access, maybe even a train, so that we reduce on the traffic on the road. In my experience, and maybe even from reading, building actually bigger roads is not solving the issue of traffic or road issues. No, it's not. I mean, many countries, there's that joke that one more lane, until you find a very, very big road, and then the cars are still very many. But taking sustainable measures like public transport has, reduced quite a lot of road accidents and car traffic, and also encouraging people to walk and use the more green options of, so for example, riding a bicycle. Those have also actually reduced in many cities, have reduced on the traffic on the road. We call upon each and every person in this sector to be deliberate. SCA, government, be deliberate about sorting the public transport mess, but also the road safety should be prioritized. We cannot live just on the goodwill of the people. The laws have to work. Systems have to be put in place. People who are building in road reserves should vacate strictly. Uganda, Kampala is still a young city. It hasn't been there for hundreds of years, not to change. It can be changed now. Otherwise, if we don't change now, we shall regret 200 years from now. Posterity will regret. There are also other young cities that actually can be shaped in the kind of model cities we want. Because they're still young, there is less infrastructure. We could pick Fort Portal and use it as a model city with all this modern infrastructure. And then other cities can pick a leaf. We have to plan many years from now, because we are going to bequeath this country and these cities to posterity. They should see that there was something done by those who came before us. Thank you very much, my dear conversationists, for being a part of this show, for teaching us, for sharing with us your knowledge and your experience. We don't take that for granted. Thank you to our dear viewers. Thank you to the Center for Constitutional Governance and Civic festive for putting together this show. I've been your host, Martin, and I wish you a great week.